What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Marcus, and today I want to give you guys a 1-month in-depth review, my final thoughts on the Monta Oceanking version 3. Dropped last year. Picked it up at the end of the year in December, on December 20th, I believe. It is January 27th. So it's been a little over a month with this thing on the wrist, and let me tell you, it's been amazing. I haven't really taken it off at all. I wore the Noble one day out of those little over 30 days. And, I wore it to work. It was great. Kind of just wanted to get myself out of the honeymoon phase. But to be 100% honest, I ended up sizing the Noble for Amanda's wrist. And she's been wearing it for a little over a week and she loves it. So this thing has not left my wrist. It is amazing. Everything I said in that first video still stands, but I wanted to give you a little bit more opinions, real-time experiences, and I kind of just wanted to give you my final thoughts because I'm pretty sure I've wrapped up my opinion on this bad boy. This is incredible, man. Incredible value, incredible build. But let's get into it, man. The first thing I want to address is the elephant in the room that seems to get people talking about not only this watch, but watches of this type of ilk and design language. It looks like a sub. It does. It looks like a Rolex Submariner. It looks a lot more like a Rolex Submariner than the version 2 did. A lot of people say even just from this distance right here, you can kind of mistake it for a sub. I don't necessarily agree with that part of it. Obviously, it does look more like a sub than the previous generation. Anybody that has a sub, I've ran into 2 people in public with a sub on their wrist. One of them outright asked me what I was wearing, and we had a really cool conversation about a St. Louis owned brand. But the point is, I commented on his watch. He looked back at me. He noticed I had a nice watch on, but he didn't automatically assume that it was a Rolex. He kind of took a second glance at it and was like, yo, what's that? He was like, oh, dude, it's a Monta. Have you heard of these guys? No, I haven't. And I was telling him about Everest bands and just the St. Louis heritage that these guys got. And man, he pulled up the website, and when he saw that this was only $2,500, he bought one right there. Now, $2,500 is a lot of money. When you're talking about where this watch fits in and what it competes with, it really competes with watches that are in that $3,000 to $4,000 range. We're talking Longines, Frederique Constant. We're talking, some people even say this punches towards the Tudor. Got my girlfriend's cousin. We were at dinner last night, and he's always been a Rolex guy. He got a big bonus, went and got his Datejust fluted bezel. Looks great. He wears that thing every day on the Oyster bracelet, scratched the hell up. And he's been wanting to get something a little bit more sporty. He's been looking at the Tudor Pelagos 39, the Black Bay 58. And, I've been telling him about Monta ever since I got the Noble. And he's been really interested in the brand. And last night he told me that he thinks this right here, the Monta Oceanking, is going to be his next purchase. Again, the St. Louis heritage, the build quality, the value for dollar. Monta just knocks it out of the park, man. And when it comes to looking like a sub, I asked him, I said, dude, do you mind that it kind of looks like a Submariner? He said, no, dude, I'm not worried about that. He said, I like the watch. He said, the watch is good. Companies out of St. Louis, it's almost hard not to. And I agree, man. Just like I said, my bias being that Monta's kind of the home team, rooting for him to succeed. it's almost hard for me to, at least in my head, justify getting another brand, because, you know, I want to see these guys succeed. I want to see what else they can do with more resources. And, you know, to me so far, they're doing a killer job. And, you know, I can't wait to see what they do with the Triumph coming up, the Noble. Man, if this thing looks like a sub, then so do tons of other watches out there. And that's what me and her cousin were talking about last night. Like, if this looks like a sub, then man, my Orient Kamasu definitely looks like a sub. I mean, we're talking really similar design language here. For all intents and purposes, to the layman, these are the same watch. This would look exactly the same to a person who doesn't really know the difference. It's like, man, if you're telling me this looks like a Rolex, this gotta look like a Rolex too, man. I love my Orient Kamasu. Put it on the Jubilee, sized it for Amanda's wrist. She wears it when she wants to have, you know, that dark red tone or just a bulkier look. She'll throw that on like in the garden and whatnot. But I just wanted to bring that out and show you, man, like we are splitting hairs here when we're talking about, oh, that looks like a sub. And especially with all the integrated bracelet talk recently, like, oh, it looks like a Nautilus, it looks like a Royal Oak. Man, I mean, unless we're talking like they're putting the screws in exactly how they are and doing everything but the logo. You know, if Monta had come in here and put Monta all over the Rehat, if they had their date at 3 with a Cyclops, if they took their bezel and had the different texture on it so it looks sharper, their case, a lot more rounded. Like, look at those rounded off edges there. It's smooth. It transitions very well. The Rolex is sharp, and you can tell, man. When I see a Rolex, a sub on somebody's wrist, man, it looks like they could cut you right there with the edge of the case. But the Monta, it's smooth. It transitions very nicely into the bracelet. So there are distinct differences. There are things that Monta could have done that went a lot more into that Rolex territory, but I think they did a good job keeping some of those V2 Oceanking elements, keeping the bracelet the way it is, the case the way it is. You know, the indices obviously went more towards the sub. All right, so I'm editing, and I just wanted to say that when I said the indices went more towards the sub, I meant that they're off of the Rehat and on the dial. Now, obviously the shape of the indices is rectangular and sharp, whereas the subs are round, which I really, really like the rectangular and sharp indices of that Monta Oceanking. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say there. Enjoy the rest of the video. But like I said, I really like this look. It's a lot more legible. It's a lot more sporty, and you got a little thicker bezel there, which people tend to say that this is too thick. And I think it's just in pictures and videos, because in person, on wrist, the proportions on this are amazing. Like, it really does look perfect. And I thought that the previous version, one thing that was probably on a dislike for me on the previous version was how thin that bezel was. It kind of made the dial look bigger, kind of giving dinner plate vibes. And it looked a little bit bigger on wrist. And, you know, I like a little bit of a smaller look. You know, this looks really good, man. I mean, I'm wearing it with dress shirts and stuff, and it does not look out of place. So case proportions on this are amazing. The way the dial and the indices are set up, beautiful. New class, man. Probably the biggest thing that I've noticed since having this on the wrist for a month is how comfortable this thing is. I thought the clasp might be an issue. It really is not. Like, it hugs the wrist so perfectly. Case proportions, like I said, stays right where I want it on the wrist, especially with the micro adjust. I can dial it in, get that perfect fit. And man, I throw this on, and it, even for the heft and the weight of it, and it's a little bit bigger than my Noble, it's still, you know, halfway through my day, it's like I almost don't even realize it's on. And it's not because it's super lightweight or super tiny. It's because it fits perfect. You know, the lug to lug being, I think it's like just under or over 47, 40 and a half case. And I think it's about 12 mil thick. Dude, those are dream proportions for a dive watch, man. It's classic, timeless. I'm in love with this watch. Comfortability, versatility is probably the second biggest thing I've noticed. Like I said, the up-down factor on this is incredible. I'm going to take it up a notch. I'm going back to Monta, getting a curved end leather bracelet. courtesy of my amazing girlfriend who wanted to get me one for Valentine's Day. It's a little early, but you know, we can't contain ourselves when it comes to giving each other gifts. So we're gonna head up to Monta HQ probably here in the next couple weeks, and we're gonna go get a curved end leather strap for this bad boy. Not sure if I'm gonna go tan or chocolate or both, but we're gonna get a curved end leather strap here, kind of take it up a notch, be able to dress it up just a little bit more. But man, the versatility of this model is insane. It's really could be your only watch, you know? If you lean a little bit more sporty, you're only dressing up every now and again, this could really be your only watch and you're not gonna be out of place wherever you are. Man, so almost 10 minutes straight of gushing over this watch. Is there anything I dislike about it? Kinda. I mean, we can go through some cons. Nothing here is deal breaking, obviously. I love this watch, but you know, nothing's perfect. And you know, if I was designing this, maybe there's a couple things I would have done differently. One of those being, and I think this should be across the Monta lineup, every single model should have an applied logo. Man, I mean, that logo gives like Patek vibes. And honestly, I think they're doing a disservice by not making that an applied logo. You make that applied, give it a little polish. I think that would set every model up a little bit, give it a little bit more, I don't even know what I'm looking for. It just takes it up a notch when it comes to the finishing, the look of it. You know you're looking at something really high quality when that logo is just shining in there in that dial. And I think that would look absolutely amazing. It's a shame they didn't go with the applied logo. Number two, and this is another one that is across the Monta lineup. And I don't know if it's just me because I am looking at other bracelets and it seems to be fine, but I feel like the lug gaps, the gaps between the lugs, like it's kind of big. There's quite a bit of space in between those gaps. So you can kind of see right through them. And again, like I said, I started looking at Rolex pictures and Tudor, and you know, Tudor has a pretty tight lug gap, but realistically, it's not that bad. But it is just something I noticed. You know, like I said, nothing crazy. I really wish that logo was applied. What else? What else? I really liked the polish on the inside of the lugs on the Noble and the other models. That would have been cool to keep. But I know they're going for more of a classic, less flashy version of a dive watch. They said they built too much of a dress diver on the previous model. And you know, legibility was never a high concern on those. I think they looked great, especially the gilt model, no date, was beautiful. But this is just far more legible. It's far more sporty. You still get a thick ceramic bezel, giving a little flash. And man, just overall, this is just an amazing watch. I've been loving every minute of having this on my wrist for the past month. It's been great. Can't wait to get that curved end leather strap on there. And I don't think I'm missing anything else, man. It's been awesome. So if you're thinking about getting this, Monta makes a great watch, man. I know it's hard. You can't go into the store and see them unless you live in St. Louis or near one of their ADs. But if you happen to be, you know, passing through or you're in the area, definitely stop by, hit up Clarkson Jewelers and have them show you some Montas, man. And Clarkson Jewelers also has Tudor and Breitling and Grand Seiko and Rolex. So you can really put this next to some of these watches that, you know, people talk about this punching above its weight and competing with. Now, if you want to go for, you know, the Pelagos 39 because of the movement and the brand heritage with Tudor, no one's going to look at you crazy for that. I mean, I think whenever people jump in my comments and go, I wouldn't get this Monta, I'd rather have the Longines Conquest, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Longines Conquest is a great watch. There's no reason why you have to put down one to bring up another. Longines Conquest, great value for money. We pit watches head and head just because it's fun, gets views, all that stuff. But people in the comments talking about, you know, this watch is so much better than this watch. I think you're forgetting about the part for you. So I know that I'm biased towards Monta. I know that I love this brand being from St. Louis, you know, me where I'm kind of, you know, I wasn't born and raised here, but kind of doing my adult growing up and, you know, getting my first real job, making my first little bit of money is in St. Louis. So it means something special to me to have this watch on my wrist. And You know, if you feel that same way, obviously this is going to be a purchase for you. I think everybody in St. Louis, if you got nice watches, if you're into watches, you got to pick up a Monta, man. And I'm looking forward to talking with the St. Louis watch community. I guess to end it off here, we'll talk about where this channel is going to go from here. I do want to start reviewing other watches, some other EDC gear. Like I've got my Chris Reeves small Sebenza, Magna Cut, Bog Oak. I know you guys are probably wanting to hear about that. But I am going to start borrowing watches from people in the community in St. Louis. If you're not from St. Louis and you want to donate something to me for a couple days, get it on the channel to review, slide in my DMs at MarcusEDC on Instagram, and let's chat. You know, I'll pay for shipping both ways. My next video next week, I should be talking about a Christopher Ward 12, the 40mm Arctic, and I'm going to put that up against my girlfriend's 35mm PRX. So we're going to have some fun. If you guys want to donate any watches to the channel, obviously I'll send it right back. I don't need to size anything to my wrist. I just kind of want to get a tabletop review, kind of just get things in my hands and just let you guys know my opinions. You know, I might show you my collection a little bit. We'll talk about how I got Amanda into watches. You know, I really want to start putting a little bit more effort into this channel. So if you guys want to see that, if you guys want to see this channel grow and succeed, hit that like button, hit subscribe, click that bell so you know when I'm uploading new videos. And we'll see you guys soon. We're going to do a Christopher Ward 12 versus Tissot PRX. So be ready for that, you know. Catch you later.